It was a cold Tuesday morning in October, when everything changed at the Wildwood Animal Center in Montana. Dr. Lisa had been working there for almost 6 years, helping injured wild animals get back on their feet. She thought she had seen it all: bears with broken bones, eagles with damaged wings, and countless other creatures who needed a second chance. But nothing prepared her for what happened that day. The phone rang just after sunrise. A park ranger had found something unusual. Near the forest edge, a young female wolf with a badly injured leg. What made this discovery strange was that the wolf wasn't running away from humans, like wild wolves normally do. Instead, she seemed almost calm around people, which was very odd. When the rescue team arrived at the center with their new patient, Lisa got her first look at the wolf. She was beautiful, gray and white fur that seemed to shine even when dirty, and the most incredible amber eyes Lisa had ever seen. The wolf was clearly in pain, but there was something else in those eyes: intelligence, and maybe even a hint of trust. "Let's call her Luna," Lisa said quietly as she prepared for the examination. The name just felt right. Getting Luna ready for surgery was surprisingly easy. Most wild wolves would fight, bite, or try to escape even when injured. But Luna seemed to understand that Lisa was trying to help. She lay still during the x-rays and barely flinched when Lisa touched her broken leg. "This is really weird," thought Lisa. "It's like she's been around humans before." The surgery went well. Luna's leg had a clean break that would heal properly with time and rest. But the real surprise came during her recovery. While most wild animals at the center tried to avoid human contact, Luna did the opposite. Whenever Lisa entered her recovery area, Luna would lift her head and watch her with those bright amber eyes. After a few days, something even more unusual started happening. When Lisa came to check on Luna's bandages or bring food, the wolf would stand up and walk slowly toward her, not in an aggressive way, but almost like she was greeting an old friend. "Hey there, beautiful," Lisa would say softly. "How are you feeling today?" And Luna would do something that made Lisa's heart skip. She would gently bump her head against Lisa's arm, just like a friendly dog might do. But it was what happened in the second week that really caught everyone's attention. Lisa was sitting in Luna's enclosure, writing notes about her recovery progress. Luna had been lying quietly nearby, but suddenly she got up and walked over to where Lisa sat. What happened next was completely unexpected. Luna began rubbing her face along Lisa's arm, then her shoulder, then against her leg. It wasn't rough or aggressive, it was gentle, almost affectionate. The wolf spent nearly 5 minutes doing this, covering as much of Lisa's clothing as she could reach with her scent. "What on earth are you doing, girl?" Lisa whispered, not wanting to break the moment. After Luna finished her strange ritual, she lay down right next to Lisa, as close as she could get. It was like she was saying, "You're mine now." Lisa didn't understand it at the time, but something very special had just happened. Luna hadn't just marked her with scent, she had chosen her. In the wolf world, this kind of behavior means something very important. It's how wolves tell other wolves, "This one belongs to me." Over the next few days, Lisa noticed other changes in Luna's behavior. Whenever male staff members came to clean her enclosure or bring food, Luna was friendly enough. She would wag her tail and even let them pet her sometimes. But when female staff members approached, Luna's whole attitude changed. She wouldn't growl or show her teeth, but she would position herself between the other women and wherever Lisa had been sitting. It was like she was guarding Lisa's spot, even when Lisa wasn't there. The strangest incident happened when Dr. Rachel, another veterinarian at the center, tried to examine Luna while Lisa was busy with another animal. Luna simply refused to cooperate. She wouldn't let Rachel touch her injured leg, wouldn't eat the treat she offered, and kept looking toward the door as if waiting for someone specific. "I think she wants you," Rachel told Lisa later. "I've never seen anything like it. It's like she's bonded to you specifically." When Lisa entered Luna's enclosure that afternoon, the wolf's entire demeanor changed. Her tail wagged, her ears perked up, and she immediately came over for what Lisa had started calling the greeting ritual. Luna would rub her face against Lisa's arms, legs, and clothes for several minutes, making sure her scent was fresh and strong. After the scent marking, Luna would settle down right next to Lisa, often resting her head on Lisa's lap while she worked on her notes or just sat quietly. It was peaceful and beautiful. But Lisa was beginning to realize that something much deeper was happening here. Luna wasn't just being friendly, she was claiming ownership in her wolf mind. Lisa belonged to her now, and she was making sure that any other female who came near would know it. The facility director called a meeting to discuss Luna's unusual behavior. Everyone agreed that they had never seen anything quite like it. Some suggested that Luna might have been raised by humans before somehow ending up in the wild. Others thought she might just be naturally more social than typical wolves. But Lisa was starting to suspect the truth was even more remarkable than that. Luna hadn't just accepted her as a caregiver, she had chosen her as family. And in the wolf world, family bonds are serious business. As Lisa left the center that evening, her clothes still carrying Luna's distinctive scent, she found herself looking forward to tomorrow's visit in a way that surprised her. She was beginning to understand that her relationship with this beautiful, intelligent wolf was going to be unlike anything she had ever experienced. What she didn't know was that Luna's claiming behavior was just the beginning. The wolf had bigger plans for her chosen human, and she was prepared to make sure the whole world knew that Dr. Lisa was officially off limits to other females. The real adventure was just getting started. After 2 weeks of Luna's strange behavior, Lisa knew she needed answers every day. The wolf's scent marking ritual became more intense. What started as gentle face rubbing had turned into full body coverage. Luna would spend almost 10 minutes making sure every inch of Lisa's clothing carried her smell. Lisa had worked with animals long enough to know this wasn't normal pet behavior. This was something deeper, something that spoke to ancient wolf instincts that most people never get to witness. She decided to call Dr. Kevin Thompson, a wildlife behavior expert she had met at a conference years ago. Kevin had spent over 20 years studying wolves in the wild and understood their social patterns better than almost anyone. "Kevin, I need your help with something unusual," Lisa said during their phone call. "I have a wolf here who's displaying some really strange behaviors. Toward me specifically." When Lisa described Luna's daily scent marking rituals and her protective stance around other women, Kevin was quiet for a long moment. "Lisa, what you're describing is extremely rare." He finally said, "It sounds like this wolf has chosen you as her primary pack member. In wolf families, there's usually one individual that others are most bonded to, but I've never heard of this happening between a wolf and a human." Kevin agreed to visit the center the following week. In the meantime, Lisa started paying closer attention to Luna's behavior patterns. She began keeping a journal, writing down every detail of their interactions. Monday, Luna's scent marking session lasted 12 minutes today. She seemed particularly focused on my sleeves and the bottom of my pants when Tom brought her food. She was friendly and even playful, but when Amy tried to enter the enclosure to clean, Luna positioned herself directly in front of where I usually sit. Tuesday, something interesting happened today. I had to examine an injured fox in the next enclosure, and Luna could see me through the fence. She paced the entire time, whimpering softly. The moment I finished and walked back toward her area, she calmed down completely. Wednesday, Luna wouldn't eat her breakfast until I arrived. The staff said she just sat by her food bowl, staring at the entrance. The second I walked in, she did her usual greeting ritual, then immediately went to eat. It's like she was waiting for permission, or maybe just waiting for me. The more Lisa observed, the more she realized how deep Luna's attachment had become. The wolf had somehow decided that Lisa was her person, and she was prepared to defend that claim against anyone who might threaten it. When Kevin arrived at the center, Luna's reaction was immediate and telling. She allowed him to approach the enclosure, but she never took her eyes off Lisa. Even when Kevin offered treats or tried to engage with her, Luna's attention remained focused on her chosen human. "This is absolutely fascinating," Kevin said as he watched Luna perform her scent marking ritual on Lisa. "She's treating you like a mate or a primary family member. In wild wolf packs, this kind of intense bonding usually happens between wolves who will spend their entire lives together." Kevin explained that Luna's behavior made perfect sense from a wolf's perspective. By covering Lisa with her scent, she was essentially putting up a giant no trespassing sign for other females. The scent told any other wolf, or in this case, any other woman, that Lisa was already claimed. "But why only with women?" Lisa asked. "She's fine with male staff members. In wolf society, males and females have different types of relationships," Kevin explained. "Males might compete for territory or resources, but females compete for primary bonds and family positions. Luna sees other women as potential rivals for your attention and loyalty." To test his theory, Kevin suggested a simple experiment. He asked Lisa to have lunch with Amy, one of the female veterinary assistants, while Luna could observe from her enclosure. The results were immediate and clear. The moment Lisa and Amy sat down together at the picnic table visible from Luna's area, the wolf became agitated. She paced back and forth, occasionally stopping to stare directly at Amy. Her ears were forward, her tail was stiff, and her whole body language screamed tension. "She's not aggressive," Kevin noted, "but she's definitely stressed. Look how she keeps focusing on the other woman, not on you. She's evaluating a potential threat to her bond with you." When Lisa finished lunch and returned to Luna's enclosure, alone, the change was dramatic. Luna immediately began the most intensive scent marking session Lisa had ever experienced. The wolf rubbed against every part of Lisa's body she could reach, paying special attention to her hands and arms, the parts that had been closest to Amy. "During lunch, she's reclaiming you," Kevin said with amazement. "She's making sure her scent overrides any trace of contact with the other female. This is textbook territorial behavior, but I've never seen it directed toward a human before." Over the next few days, Kevin conducted several more observations. Each time, Luna's behavior followed the same pattern. She was relaxed and friendly with men, but became watchful and possessive whenever women were around Lisa. The most revealing moment came when Kevin brought his research assistant, Dr. Patricia Wells, to observe Luna. Patricia was an expert in animal behavior herself, but Luna didn't care about her credentials. The moment Patricia approached Lisa to discuss their findings, Luna moved into what Kevin called guarding position. She didn't growl or show aggression, but she placed herself directly between Patricia and Lisa, facing the other woman with calm but unmistakable intent. Her message was clear. "This human is mine. Please keep your distance, Lisa. I have to tell you," Kevin said as they wrapped up his visit. "What you have here is something special. Luna has formed what we call an exclusive bond with you. In the wild, this kind of relationship is incredibly strong and usually lasts for life." Kevin explained that Luna's daily scent marking wasn't just a habit, it was a renewal of their bond. Every day, she was essentially telling the world, "This is my person, and our relationship is still strong." But what does this mean for Luna's future? Lisa asked. "Can she ever be released back into the wild?" Kevin shook his head gently. "Luna has chosen captivity with you over freedom without you. Wolves who form this kind of human bond rarely readjust to wildlife. She's made her choice, and from her perspective, she's exactly where she wants to be." As Lisa processed this information, she felt a mix of emotions. She was honored that Luna had chosen her, but she also felt the weight of responsibility. This beautiful, intelligent wolf had essentially given up her wild life to be with one human. That evening, as Lisa sat in Luna's enclosure while the wolf performed her nightly scent marking ritual, she finally understood the true meaning of their relationship. Luna hadn't just bonded with her, she had chosen her as family, and in the wolf world, family bonds are sacred, permanent, and worth defending at any cost. The question now was, what would Lisa do with this extraordinary gift of trust and love? 3 weeks after Kevin's visit, Everything changed when Dr. Rebecca Martinez arrived at the Wildwood Animal Center. Rebecca was a respected wildlife researcher from the University of Colorado, and she had specifically requested to study Luna's unusual human-wolf bond for her upcoming research paper. Lisa felt nervous about the visit, but she couldn't pinpoint exactly why. Maybe it was the way Luna had been acting lately, more protective, more intense with her daily scent marking rituals. The wolf seemed to sense that something was different. Even before Rebecca arrived, "I've read all the reports about Luna's behavior," Rebecca said as Lisa showed her around the facility. "I have to admit, I'm a bit skeptical. I've worked with wolves for 15 years, and what you're describing seems almost too extraordinary to be true." Lisa tried to stay professional, but something about Rebecca's tone bothered her. There was a dismissiveness there, like she thought Lisa was exaggerating or misunderstanding normal animal behavior. "Why don't we start with a basic observation?" Rebecca suggested. "I'd like to see Luna's reaction to me without any special preparation. Just a normal interaction." Looking back, Lisa should have known this was a bad idea. Luna had been restless all morning, pacing her enclosure and constantly looking toward the main entrance. It was like she could sense an approaching storm. When they reached Luna's area, the wolf's reaction was immediate. She stood up from where she had been lying and fixed her amber eyes directly on Rebecca. Not on Lisa, like she usually did with visitors, but on the new woman. "She's certainly beautiful," Rebecca said, stepping closer to the fence. "May I go inside? I'd like to get some close-up behavioral observations." "I don't think that's a good idea today," Lisa said, feeling increasingly uneasy. "Luna seems a bit on edge, and she's never met you before." But Rebecca was already unlatching the gate. "I've worked with hundreds of wolves. I know how to read their body language." What happened next would be talked about at the center for years to come. The moment Rebecca stepped into Luna's enclosure, the wolf's entire demeanor shifted. Her ears went forward, her tail became stiff, and she moved into what Kevin had called the guarding position. But this was different from her usual protective stance. This felt more intense, more primal. "Luna, it's okay," Lisa said softly. But she could feel her heart racing. Something was very wrong. Rebecca seemed oblivious to the tension. She pulled out her notebook and began making observations, occasionally glancing at Luna, but mostly focused on her writing. "Interesting. The wolf appears alert but not aggressive. I don't see any of the territorial behavior mentioned in the reports. That's when Luna made her move. She didn't attack or show aggression in any obvious way. Instead, she did something far more meaningful in wolf language. Luna walked directly to where Lisa stood near the fence, pressed her entire body against Lisa's legs, and began the most intense scent marking session Lisa had ever experienced. For nearly 15 minutes, Luna rubbed every part of her body against Lisa, her face, her neck, her sides, even rolling slightly to get her back and belly involved in the process. She was essentially bathing Lisa in her scent, making sure that every molecule of Rebecca's presence was covered and overwhelmed. This is incredible," Rebecca whispered, her skepticism completely gone. "She's not just marking territory, she's making a statement." But Luna wasn't finished. After completing the most thorough scent marking ritual Lisa had ever witnessed, Luna did something that made both women's hearts stop. She positioned herself directly between Lisa and Rebecca, sat down, and fixed the visiting researcher with a stare. That was unmistakably clear. "You need to leave now." "I think we should go," Lisa said quietly, but Rebecca was too fascinated to move. "Wait. I want to see what happens if I try to approach you while she's in this state." "Rebecca, no, please don't." But the researcher was already taking a step toward Lisa. Luna's response was swift and decisive. She stood up, took 2 steps forward, and let out a low, rumbling sound that wasn't quite a growl but was definitely a warning. Okay, Rebecca said, backing away slowly. Message received. As soon as Rebecca moved away from Lisa, Luna's posture relaxed slightly, but her eyes never left the other woman. She had made her point crystal clear. Lisa was off limits. The three of them left the enclosure together, but the tension didn't end there. For the rest of Rebecca's visit, Luna watched every interaction between the two women with laser focus. When they sat together to discuss research findings, Luna paced. When Rebecca handed Lisa documents, Luna moved to the front of her enclosure to get a better view. When Rebecca laughed at something Lisa said, Luna's ears went back slightly. "She's monitoring every aspect of your interaction with me," Rebecca observed with professional fascination. "It's like she considers you her exclusive property." The most telling moment came when it was time for Rebecca to leave. As the two women said goodbye near the facility's main entrance, Luna began making a sound neither of them had heard before, a high-pitched whimper. That carried clearly across the entire center. "She knows you're leaving with me," Lisa realized. "She's afraid I'm going to leave too." Lisa immediately walked back to Luna's enclosure, and the wolf's relief was obvious. She practically threw herself at the fence, pressing as close to Lisa as possible while making happy whining sounds. "I'm not going anywhere." "Girl," Lisa said softly, "this is my home too." That evening, after Rebecca had left for her hotel, Luna's behavior reached a new level of intensity. She refused to let Lisa leave her enclosure, becoming agitated every time Lisa moved toward the gate. Finally, Lisa made a decision that surprised even herself. "Okay, I'll stay a little longer," she told Luna, "but you need to understand that I have to go home eventually for the next 2 hours." Luna performed what could only be described as a reclaiming ceremony. She scent marked every inch of Lisa's clothing, then lay down directly against her, making sure their physical contact was constant and complete. "You really don't want to share me with other women, do you?" Lisa said, gently stroking Luna's fur. "But sweetie, I have to work with other people. That's part of my job." Luna looked up at her with those intelligent amber eyes, and for a moment, Lisa could swear the wolf understood every word. But understanding and accepting were two different things. The next morning brought an even bigger challenge. Rebecca returned for a second day of observations, this time bringing a female graduate student named Ashley to help with data collection. Luna's reaction to having two unknown women in her territory was unlike anything the staff had ever seen. She didn't become aggressive, but she became what could only be described as militantly possessive. Every time Lisa spoke to either Rebecca or Ashley, Luna would immediately begin pacing and whimpering. When Lisa laughed at one of Ashley's jokes, Luna let out a sound that was part whine, part howl, a sound of pure emotional distress. "She's actually jealous," Ashley observed with amazement. "This wolf is jealous of human women interacting with her chosen person." The final test came when Rebecca asked Lisa to step outside Luna's view for a private conversation about the research findings. The moment Lisa disappeared from sight, Luna's distress became so obvious that other staff members came running to see what was wrong. "She thinks you've left with them, Tom," one of the animal care technicians said when Lisa hurried back. "Look at her." Luna was pressed against the fence closest to where Lisa had disappeared, making continuous worried sounds while scanning the area desperately. The moment she spotted Lisa returning, her relief was overwhelming. She began jumping against the fence, tail wagging frantically, making happy crying sounds. "Okay, that's it," Rebecca said, closing her notebook. "I've seen enough. This wolf has formed the most intense human bond I've ever documented. She doesn't just prefer you, Lisa, she's emotionally dependent on you." As Rebecca and Ashley packed up their equipment, Luna performed one final display of ownership. She scent marked Lisa so thoroughly and for so long that both researchers started timing it with their watches. 23 minutes. Luna spent 23 minutes making sure that Lisa carried no trace of contact with other women. "This isn't just animal behavior," Rebecca said as she prepared to leave. "This is love, possessive, exclusive, and absolutely devoted love." After the researchers left, Lisa sat alone with Luna as the sun set behind the mountains. The wolf was calm now, content in the knowledge that she had successfully defended her claim on her chosen human. "You know, girl," Lisa said softly, "I'm starting to understand that you don't just think of me as your friend. You think of me as your mate, don't you? Luna looked up at her, and in that moment, Lisa saw something in those amber eyes that took her breath away. It wasn't just affection or loyalty. It was a deep, unwavering commitment that would last for life. The territory war was over, and Luna had won. But Lisa was beginning to realize that winning meant she now belonged to this remarkable wolf as much as Luna belonged to her. After Rebecca's visit, Lisa realized her life had changed in ways she never expected. Luna's claiming behavior wasn't just something that happened at work anymore. It was affecting every part of her daily routine. The first sign came on a Tuesday morning when Lisa arrived at the center wearing a sweater her sister had borrowed over the weekend. The moment Luna caught the scent of another woman on Lisa's clothing, her reaction was immediate and intense. Luna refused to do their usual greeting ritual. Instead, she sat at the far end of her enclosure, staring at Lisa with what could only be described as disappointment. Her ears were slightly back, her tail was still, and her whole body language screamed one message: "You smell wrong." "What's the matter, girl?" Lisa asked, genuinely confused. "It's me. It's still me." But Luna wouldn't approach until Lisa had been in the enclosure for over an hour. Only after Lisa's natural scent had started to overpower the foreign female scent did Luna finally come over for a hesitant greeting. Even then, her scent marking session was longer and more thorough than usual, as if she was working extra hard to fix whatever had gone wrong. That's when Lisa understood. Luna could detect the presence of other women in her life, even when they weren't physically present. The realization led to some difficult conversations at home. Lisa lived with her roommate Jenny, who had been her best friend since college. They shared clothes, borrowed each other's perfume, and had always been comfortable with the casual intimacy of close friendship. "So you're telling me that your wolf can smell me on your clothes?" Jenny asked, half amused and half concerned. "And she gets jealous about it?" "It's not exactly jealousy," Lisa tried to explain. "It's more like she thinks other women are a threat to our bond. In wolf families, this kind of behavior is normal. She's just treating me like I'm part of her pack." But explaining it and living with it were two different things. Lisa found herself making changes she never thought she'd need to make. She started doing her own laundry separately, using unscented detergent to preserve Luna's markings. She stopped borrowing Jenny's clothes and asked Jenny not to borrow hers. The hardest part was explaining to her family why she couldn't hug her sister or her mother the way she used to during a family dinner. When Lisa's mom went to give her a typical motherly embrace, Lisa had to gently pull away. "Mom, I'm sorry, but I need to be careful about picking up other scents. Luna gets really upset when I smell like other women." Her family thought she was joking at first. It wasn't until Lisa showed them videos of Luna's behavior that they began to understand how serious the situation had become. "Honey, you're changing your entire life for an animal," her mother said gently. "Is that really healthy?" Lisa had been asking herself the same question. Was she taking this too far? Was she letting Luna's possessive behavior control her life in ways that weren't good for either of them? But every time she considered setting firmer boundaries, something would happen that reminded her how deep their connection really was. Like the day Lisa came to work feeling sick with a stomach bug. She tried to hide it, not wanting to worry Luna, but the wolf knew immediately that something was wrong. Instead of her usual energetic greeting, Luna approached slowly, gently pressing her nose against Lisa's forehead and whimpering softly. Luna spent that entire day lying pressed against Lisa's side, as if she was trying to share her warmth and comfort. She barely moved, even to eat, choosing instead to stay close to her human who clearly needed care. "She's taking care of you," observed Dr. Mike, the center's director, as he watched their interaction. "I've never seen anything like it. She's acting like a worried family member." Or the evening when Lisa had to stay late to care for an injured eagle that had just arrived. Luna seemed to understand that this was important work, but as the hours passed, she became increasingly anxious. She would pace to the front of her enclosure, look toward the main building where Lisa was working, then return to lie down, only to repeat the cycle again. When Lisa finally returned at nearly midnight, exhausted and stressed, Luna's greeting was different. There was no possessive scent marking, no territorial display. Instead, Luna simply leaned against her, offering quiet comfort after a difficult day. These moments made Lisa realize that their relationship was more complex than simple possession. Luna wasn't just claiming her, she was loving her, worrying about her, and trying to take care of her in the only way she knew how. But the challenges kept growing. Lisa's dating life became practically impossible. The few times she tried to go out with someone, Luna could smell the presence of another person on her clothes, if it was a man. Luna was curious but not upset. But the one time Lisa went to dinner with a female colleague, Luna's reaction was so severe that Lisa ended up staying at the center until almost 3 a.m., helping her wolf calm down. "I can't keep living like this," Lisa confided to Kevin during one of his follow-up visits. "I love Luna, but I feel like I'm becoming a prisoner to her emotional needs." Kevin nodded understandingly. This is the challenge of interspecies bonding. Luna loves you the only way she knows how, as a wolf. But wolves are possessive, territorial, and extremely loyal. She's not trying to control you. She's trying to protect what she sees as the most important relationship in her life. They discuss various strategies for managing Luna's behavior, but everything came back to the same reality. Luna had chosen Lisa as her primary bond, and nothing was going to change that. The breakthrough came when Lisa decided to embrace the relationship instead of fighting it. She stopped seeing Luna's behavior as problematic and started seeing it as a unique form of communication. When Luna was extra possessive after Lisa had been around other women, Lisa learned to set aside extra time for reassurance. When Luna was anxious because Lisa was late, she made sure to call the center and have someone talk to Luna through the fence until she arrived. Most importantly, Lisa started talking to Luna like she would talk to a family member, explaining her schedule and her needs. "I have to go to a conference next week," she would tell Luna during their evening time together. "I'll be gone for 3 days, but Tom and Mike will take care of you, and I'll be back on Thursday." To everyone's amazement, Luna seemed to understand. She would be calmer during Lisa's absences if she had been informed ahead of time. It was like she just needed to know that Lisa's departure was temporary, not permanent. 6 months after Luna had first claimed her, Lisa realized something important. She wasn't losing her independence to Luna's possessive love. She was gaining a relationship unlike anything she had ever experienced. Luna knew when Lisa was sad. Before Lisa even realized it herself, she could sense when Lisa was stressed, sick, or worried. She celebrated Lisa's good days with extra playfulness and comforted her bad days with gentle presence. "You're not just my wolf," Lisa said one evening as Luna performed her nightly scent marking ritual. "You're my family, and family takes care of each other, right?" Luna looked up at her with those intelligent amber eyes and gently bumped her head against Lisa's hand. In that moment, Lisa understood that they had both made sacrifices for this relationship. Luna had given up her wildness, and Lisa had adjusted her lifestyle. But what they had gained was something rare and precious, a love that crossed species boundaries, a loyalty that would last a lifetime, and a bond that made both of their lives richer and more meaningful. Living with a wolf's love wasn't easy, but it was extraordinary. And Lisa was finally ready to embrace just how extraordinary it could be. 3 years had passed since Luna first rubbed her scent on Lisa and declared her off-limits to other females. What started as an unusual rehabilitation case had become something that changed both of their lives forever. Luna was no longer just a patient at the Wildwood Animal Center. She had become their most famous resident, drawing visitors from across the country who wanted to witness the incredible bond between a wolf and her chosen human. But more than that, she had become Lisa's family in ways that still amazed everyone who knew them. The morning routine never changed. Lisa would arrive at the center just after sunrise, and Luna would be waiting at the front of her enclosure, tail wagging with excitement. The greeting ritual had evolved over the years into something beautiful and almost ceremonial. Luna would approach slowly, as if savoring the moment, then begin her scent-marking routine. But now it wasn't frantic or possessive like it had been. In the early days, it was gentle, methodical, and filled with obvious affection. She would rub her face along Lisa's arms, lean her body against Lisa's legs, and finish by resting her head against Lisa's chest for a few quiet moments. "Good morning to you too, beautiful," Lisa would whisper, and Luna's tail would wag harder, as if she understood every word. The center had built a special observation area where visitors could watch their interactions without disturbing Luna's territorial instincts. School groups, researchers, and wildlife enthusiasts came regularly to learn about wolf behavior and the possibility of deep connections between humans and wild animals. But Luna's most important role had become that of an ambassador for wolf conservation. Her story had been featured in documentaries, wildlife magazines, and scientific journals. People who had never cared about wolves before found themselves fascinated by her intelligence, loyalty, and capacity for love. "She's changing minds," Dr. Mike often told visitors. "People see Luna and Lisa together, and they understand that wolves aren't just predators. They're complex, emotional, intelligent creatures capable of deep relationships." The center had received funding to expand their wolf education program, all because of interest in Luna's story. They had been able to rescue and rehabilitate dozens of other wolves, though none had ever formed the kind of exclusive bond that Luna shared with Lisa. Luna's daily routine had become a carefully choreographed dance that accommodated both her needs and the center's educational mission. She knew that certain times of day belonged to her and Lisa alone, while other times involved sharing Lisa's attention with visitors and staff. The most remarkable thing was how Luna had learned to communicate her needs and emotions. When she wanted Lisa's undivided attention, she would position herself between Lisa and whatever was distracting her, then make eye contact and tilt her head slightly. It was such a clear request that even first-time visitors could understand what she was saying. When she was content and relaxed, Luna would lie down with her head on Lisa's lap, occasionally sighing deeply in what could only be described as happiness. When she was worried about something, she would pace in a specific pattern that Lisa had learned to recognize immediately, and her protective instincts had never diminished. Male visitors could approach the fence freely, and Luna would often come over to investigate them with friendly curiosity. But when women approached, especially if they got too close to Lisa, Luna's body language would shift subtly. She wouldn't be aggressive, but she would make her presence known, reminding everyone that Lisa was spoken for. The most touching development had been Luna's acceptance of certain women in Lisa's life, but only after a careful introduction process that could take months. Jenny, Lisa's roommate, had finally been approved after nearly 2 years of gradual acceptance. It started with Jenny visiting the center regularly, always staying on the visitor's side of the fence, speaking quietly to Luna, and never trying to touch or interact with Lisa while Luna was watching. Slowly, Luna began to tolerate Jenny's presence, then actually seemed pleased to see her. The breakthrough came when Luna allowed Jenny to enter the enclosure while Lisa was present, though she still insisted on scent-marking Lisa thoroughly afterward. "I think she's decided I'm not a threat," Jenny had laughed. "I'm more like Lisa's weird sister who she has to put up with." Lisa's mother had gone through a similar process, though it took even longer. Now, both women could visit Luna without causing distress, though Luna still made it clear that they were secondary relationships. Lisa came first, always. The scientific community had taken notice of Luna's remarkable behavior. Researchers from universities around the world had come to study her, and their findings had contributed to new understanding of wolf intelligence and emotional capacity. Dr. Amanda Chen, a leading animal behaviorist from Stanford, had spent 6 months documenting Luna's interactions. Her conclusion was groundbreaking. Luna demonstrates cognitive and emotional complexity that rivals what we see in the most intelligent domestic animals. Her ability to maintain a long-term, exclusive bond with a human while adapting to social situation shows remarkable psychological flexibility. But beyond the scientific implications, Lisa had learned something profound about love itself. Luna's devotion was absolute and unwavering. She never had bad days where she didn't want to see Lisa. She never took the relationship for granted. Every single day, she greeted Lisa like it was a gift. She loves more purely than most humans ever do. Lisa confided to Kevin during one of his regular visits. There's no jealousy over stupid things, no holding grudges, no complicated emotional games. When Luna loves, she loves completely. The challenges hadn't disappeared entirely. Lisa still had to be careful about her interactions with other women, especially new people Luna hadn't met. Her dating life remained complicated, though. She had eventually found someone, a wildlife photographer named David who understood and respected her unique situation. Luna had accepted David relatively quickly, perhaps because he spent most of his time outdoors and carried the sense of wild animals rather than other humans. Plus, Luna seemed to understand that David made Lisa happy, and Luna's primary goal had always been Lisa's well-being. The center had also established new protocols for handling Luna that respected her bond with Lisa, while ensuring proper care. Lisa was Luna's primary caregiver, but the wolf had learned to accept medical exams and daily care from male staff members. When Lisa wasn't available, Dr. Rebecca, the researcher who had experienced Luna's territorial behavior firsthand, had become a regular visitor and eventually a friend. She often joked that she had been interviewed by Luna and found acceptable, though only after proving she posed no threat to Lisa's primary position in Luna's life. "I've studied pack animals for 20 years, Rebecca said during a recent visit, but I've never seen loyalty like this. Luna has essentially created a pack of two, and she's maintained that structure for years without wavering." As Lisa sat in Luna's enclosure one evening, watching the sunset paint the mountains in brilliant colors, she reflected on how much their relationship had taught her about love, commitment, and the connections that matter most in life. Luna was lying with her head in Lisa's lap, completely relaxed and content. Her daily scent marking ritual was complete, her territory was secure, and her chosen human was safe and close. In Luna's world, everything was exactly as it should be. "You know what, girl?" Lisa said softly, stroking Luna's thick fur. "You've taught me something important. Real love isn't about possession or control. It's about choosing someone and then showing up for them every single day, no matter what." Luna looked up at her with those wise amber eyes, and Lisa could swear she saw understanding there, maybe even agreement. Their story had become legendary in the wildlife rehabilitation community. Visitors often asked Lisa if she ever regretted the sacrifices she had made, the ways her life had changed to accommodate Luna's love. The answer was always the same: Luna didn't just choose me as her human. I chose her too. And choosing each other was the best decision either of us ever made. As the stars began to appear in the darkening sky, Luna performed one final scent marking session of the day, gentle and brief, like a goodnight kiss. Then she settled down beside Lisa, close enough that their breathing synchronized. 3 years later, their bond was stronger than ever. Luna was no longer the injured wolf who had limped into the center. She was a confident, content, deeply loved animal who had found her place in the world. And Lisa was no longer just a wildlife veterinarian doing her job. She was family to a remarkable wolf who had taught her that love truly knows no boundaries. Their story continued to inspire others and change perspectives about the emotional lives of wild animals. But for Lisa and Luna, the most important thing was much simpler. They had found each other, chosen each other, and created a love that would last a lifetime. And every morning, when Luna rubbed her scent on Lisa and reclaimed her chosen human for another day, she was saying the same thing she had said from the very beginning: "This one is mine, and I am hers, and nothing will ever change that." Some love stories are ordinary, but some, like the bond between a wolf and her human, are absolutely extraordinary.